I have a very unique name, Margot.
That's not that unique.
Not that, yeah, right.
Yeah, if I were her, I'd say I have a sort of unique name. I wouldn't say it's very unique.
I would say I have a name.
Hello, and welcome back to the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? We are in holiday season, right?
We are.
Thanksgiving's over.
December 4th.
We're taping this the Monday. Is it Monday?
We're taking Monday
we're
before Thanksgiving.
I'm sorry. I'm
Monday
like
before
loopy.
Look at us.
The Monday before
but it doesn't
Thanksgiving.
feel like Monday because it's like a very short week.
It doesn't feel like a Monday. It doesn't even feel like Thanksgiving, to be honest with you. I don't know why this year more than any other year kind of feels like maybe because the weather was so warm until like this week.
A week ago, yeah.
That it doesn't feel like I'm like needing this like let me travel thing. I don't know. I just, do you feel that or am I
I
crazy?
guess something does feel off or weird or like, I don't know. There's
maybe
just
the
like
election.
Yeah, maybe that's it. There's like a vibe in the air of just like, I don't know. Like it's like here, but like who cares? But like,
do you think everyone's in like fuck it mode?
I'm kind of in fuck it mode. I've just been thinking like, I don't know if it's like my New Year's resolution or just my general feeling of like, I am decided to not give a shit what anyone thinks about anything at all.
Nothing, everything.
Yeah, unhinged. My goal is to be unhinged.
I'm with you.
Right?
Let's make this the most unhinged episode of the You Up podcast ever. We didn't discuss this before.
Let's do it.
We
offend someone?
Your feelings? This is the no feeling zone. I love when someone thinks they're being hardcore. Fuck your feelings. It's like,
yeah.
I think if you say fuck your feelings, you care about someone's feelings.
Yeah, because you're thinking about the feelings.
Right.
So I guess maybe we're thinking about the reaction, saying we don't care about the reaction.
We care. We care very much so.
We care deeply what others think of us.
Yes, we want you to share this with people because you love it so much.
Yes.
So what else is going on? So you're in kind of fuck it mode.
I'm a little bit in fuck it mode.
Good for you.
End of the year.
I like hearing that.
End of the year, I've had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had it too. I feel you. I don't know. I've been stressed out. I feel like I'm overworked, underpaid.
Do you feel like you'll feel better when the special is done?
I'm sure that will be a load off of my mind, so to speak. But there's a little bit of me that I'm like, do I care enough about the special? You know,
I think you care a good amount.
I do care. I don't know. There's stresses that go along with that.
Is that your fear that you didn't put everything into it?
Right.
Yeah.
And that I've done. It's my fear with a lot of things that I spread myself so thin that I do nothing great. I do everything good enough.
Right. Well, that's the hardest part about anything. I think anything that you have a little bit of anxiety over, and whether it's dating or work or anything, is like the fear that you're doing it wrong or that you should be doing it differently.
Well, dating wise, I think like if I'm to personalize that and be open about my own life, I think a lot of times I've dated and I'm like, I would like be with someone and this isn't a reflection on the person I'm with as much as like, did I just end up in this thing? Like I kind of have this feeling of like, did I just like float into a relationship instead of like be purposeful and thoughtful and go for the, the person that maybe I thought I couldn't talk to or wouldn't talk to, or did I take the chance? Did I put actual work into finding a relationship? Because a lot of times I end up being like, yeah, I'm texting with this person and I guess they're there.
Well, but it's like, how would you ever know, right? Like you could think that you're purposeful and not be, or you could think you're not purposeful and you actually are. But like, there's never any way to know if we've like, if with any of our life choices, like, did we just wind up here doing this thing, or did we do everything we possibly could to make sure it was like completely optimal in every way? Like, what about your life can you say that about?
Right. I guess it's like, it's kind of, I guess it's the equivalent. I guess that makes me a maximizer,
as Logan
Ury would say. But I guess it's a little bit of like, when I prepare for something and then I do it afterwards, I go, yeah, that's the feeling I want. Like I did everything I could. Like the special, I think I'll feel that way. I'll get done with the special. I toured it for 2 years. Like I didn't go around the country doing crowd work. Like I'm kind of proud of that. I'm like proud of things that I don't know if they make me sound like I'm talking shit about other people, because I am.
Because I'm not.
Because I'm half talking shit about like a comic who goes to a club and is like, where are you from? What do you do? Where are you from? What do you do? I didn't do that.
Right.
Even though it's actually like not
easier.
It's easier to go do that. It's also not beneficial, for me to do material. It's more financially beneficial to like go and get all these moments and then put them online and then get a bunch of TikTok bucks for it. Like I went the other way and worked on the material and bombed and had things not go well.
So you're saying...
So when I produce the special and we make it on December 7th, I go, this was it. This is as good as I could have done.
If the special was a relationship, you would say you went all in.
Right.
You gave it your all.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
I live with it now.
You have no regrets about, if you didn't get... If you didn't get married, you knew that you tried the hardest you could.
Right.
With the special.
At least I gave everything I gave to this. And I think I've not really done that with my relationships.
Right. I wonder what it would look like. What do you think it would look like in terms of like actionable, tangible things?
I don't know what I need to do to feel that. Like, I actually don't know if I know what that is.
I kind of feel like I know what it is.
What is it?
I feel like it would be actively pursuing people that you are interested in, not like responding to who's interested in you.
Right.
I think it would be like an active pursuit. So like someone you're not on their radar.
Mm-hmm.
The other way, like in fact, the other way around. And then like deciding you're going to like give it your all for whatever length of time that is for you.
Well, I do think that's kind of where the apps, like the dating apps, like why are all these women like angered by the dating apps?
Mm-hmm.
I would say...
Are men angered by the dating apps?
No,
No.
I don't think... I think this is why, because I think a lot of these dating apps do not play to what makes me feel good when I am dating.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think...
Same thing as the special. What makes you feel good?
Right.
You
put in the work. I pursued it. I made it happen. I think that's a very... male thing. I think that's a person thing, not to gender it, but I do think, women, when they're looking for a partner, there's safety things involved. Right. And I do think going on an app is safe. If there's not, there's...
everyone there is like looking
for dating.
Something romantic, at least. Yeah.
Right. And they've said that they find you attractive in one way or another by matching with you.
Right. But then wouldn't men be more frustrated with the apps than women?
Well, I would say the difference is that men want to know. I think like...
Men can use them more casually?
Yes. Mm-hmm. When you find out someone is attracted to you, you go, that's all I needed to know.
Right.
It's kind of like...
No, I think that's a person thing, too.
Right.
To an extent.
You go,
right,
I know, and that's nice, and
right.
What do I do with this now?
All I wanted was to know that you would.
Right.
Right.
I don't want to go to the party. I just want to be invited. Right. I do think the idea of, like, meeting someone and being intrigued by them, not knowing if they're into you or not, and then putting work into, like... hey, let me woo you. Right. That's a very classic male thing within, caveman wise. Right. So and I do think these apps take away the caveman. And that's why, again, why does he keep texting me, not making a plan? Why? The laziness of it. It caters to laziness. And I think for a lot of women, they're like, I'm looking for a relationship. I just want to find companionship and I want to be comfortable with someone. And I've said this many times on this podcast, like, the dating stuff is like, the vacation for men and then the relationship is the work for men. And,
right.
The dating is work for a lot of women and then the relationship is like the vacation.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that kind of plays into it. And, this is me telling people don't go on dating apps, but because I think you're going to find more, not all, but you're going to find more of those men that are just like, on there with their laziness being service. And I am that guy. So I'm saying that because I'm him, you know?
What stops you from doing that thing?
Well,
the thing of pursuit of someone that you could be interested in. I don't feel like you pursue people.
No, I generally do not. And a lot of that is because, the distraction of social media, and I get like a lot of messages to
you are the
I am pursued, but not because I'm like great, like I talked to my dad.
You have a following. Whenever you're feeling great, you talk to your dad and he reminds you that you're not.
My dad was like, oh, I literally had this woman like basically banging at my door.
Right.
And I told my dad, I was like, this isn't for me, whatever. He's like, who would want you? Does she even know you? Does she know how you live? Does she know how you act? And I'm like, I don't know. I agree with my dad.
Is that why you're not pursuing others? Is it because
you know what the fear is? That I would pursue someone so hard and then realize, holy shit, I'm stuck in this mess.
Oh my God. That happens all the time. That's happened to me. I would say like every dating experience I've had has been a man pursuing me and then deciding he wasn't interested. It happens all the time. Like I can't even think back to any one of them that seems like I can, but the worst. But you're kind of like, you know what I mean? Like that's dating.
I know it is. I know intuitively it is, but at the same time,
and maybe you hate them for like a week and then you move on.
And then you move on, but
just in the same way that you would. Anyone who let's say you applied for a show, you submitted your show, you auditioned for a role, you did whatever it was. The person, maybe you don't get it. You kind of like fuck that company for like a week, and then you're like, all right, like they didn't ruin my life.
So Benny Blanco is now with Selena Gomez. What do you think of them as a couple? As a Selena Gomez fan.
Again, she seems very it's funny. I'm a Selena Gomez fan. I don't actually follow her on Instagram. I don't listen to really her music, and I don't watch any show she's on. I just like her as a person. Okay?
That's okay.
Listen.
You don't have to explain yourself.
And here's the thing. You could be a fan of someone without being a fan of everything they do.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that also.
Well, that's not even to say you don't like things they do.
Yeah.
You just
don't
You're
have
just
time.
not aware. Yeah, okay. But your Q rating for her is high.
Yes. I wish her well when I don't wish all celebrities well.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I think of them as a couple?
Yeah.
Into it, but again, would be into anyone she was with where she seemed happy. It seems like he likes her. I like that he went on Howard Stern and he didn't seem like afraid of commitment with her. He seemed to be like saying that they were like sort of working towards marriage and a family.
Well, I do think when you sign up to be public with Selena Gomez, this is a sign up.
Yeah.
Like you can't, before you enter into that, I think that's a step in the relationship. And the way it is for any relationship, are we going to post the picture on Instagram?
Right.
There's stuff that goes with this.
Yeah.
So like
by the time they come out, by the time you know about them.
Right. They've been together and they've discussed this and they've hashed out how we're going to move forward. Mm-hmm. Selena, as big as she is, you have to be like, hey, do you understand the responsibility of being my boyfriend?
Right.
Like there's going to be people that cares. There's going to be Reddit pages. There's going to be people looking at your history. There's going to be looking at your tweets. Like, hey, are you ready?
Yeah. Especially she's the most followed woman on Instagram.
I mean, my God.
Did you know that?
Like, no, I didn't know that. So
the most Instagram followers of any woman. The only people surpassing her, I think, are like the soccer players.
She's ahead. She's ahead of the Kardashians.
Yeah,
that's wild.
More than the biggest woman on Instagram.
Well, good for Selena. So now we come to find out there's an interview with Benny Blanco of like how they met. And let's play the interview.
Our first text, like where we were like asking each other out on a date. How do you ask? She asked me out. What? It was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy. But how'd it go? She literally asked me.
His reaction is actually, hold on, pause for a second. His reaction is actually
not
mean.
Casual.
No, it is like, you? She reached out to you?
This guy's a little too shocked.
Yeah, can you tone it down? I'm okay. Right. If I'm Betty, I'm like, I've made some money. I've done well.
Right. He's not like.
He's like, how horrific do you think I look?
Yeah, I mean, he's like, he's got a real job.
Right. Okay, so you?
No.
Come on. Her. You. Really? Like the longer it goes, the more insulting it gets. It's kind of insulting.
You want to get dinner? And like, I went to dinner and I had no idea.
Were you nervous?
No, I thought.
Yes, you was.
No, because I've been friends with her for years.
Oh, okay.
We've been friends for like 10 years plus, maybe 15. I met her when she was like, I met her when she was, yeah. I met her when she was so much younger.
Won't say the number.
Right,
But,
he held back on that.
I was like, we were just talking, and then she was like, "Oh, let's go get dinner tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to this thing with my friends. Why don't you come hang out with me first, and then we'll go link for dinner." So we just went and we like got a drink first, and I didn't even realize we were on a date. And she was like, "Well, if this, you know, I would have worn something different to this date." And I was like, "Wait, what? We're on a date?" I had no idea.
She said that?
No idea we were on the date. And then like I was like, and then she like left early because she had to go somewhere. She had to film a video the next day. And then we like hung out like 2 days later. And then I was like, yo, I was like, I think she likes me. And then I literally just kissed her, and then the rest is history.
Now, this kind of flies.
Where did they get a drink that no one would notice them?
That's a good point.
Where do you just get a drink?
Applebee's.
Who's that?
Yeah, it's Margarita Monday at Applebee's where you get half prices. This kind of flies in the face of my theory of like men being, lazy.
Yeah.
Because he's just like on a date and he's like, okay, I guess I'm with you now, and is excited about it. But I would also argue it's Selena Gomez. You are, her reputation precedes her.
I would say yes, but also no.
Okay.
I do think that like no matter like for women, like no matter how successful you are, there's some guy who thinks you're too much.
Okay.
Like in terms of like still want like the power dynamic of that.
They want someone who's a little bit more subservient, I guess.
Sure. I think I think like there's no one where someone's too famous for someone to be like, I think they're too into me. For women, maybe not for men.
Well,
that's my theory.
Repeat that again.
I just feel like no matter like how successful or famous or even hot you are as a woman, like if you do come on too strong with the person who's like on the fence, I do feel like you can still turn off any guy.
I guess the difference between this is it seemed as though Benny Blanco didn't even think of her as an option for him. Like,
right.
It kind of sounds like he was like, oh my God, I'm the one, like me?
Yeah.
You've chosen me based on that, the way he told that story.
I guess so, yeah.
I agree with you. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, her stance in the world, like...
Right. I mean, you've gone out with, like, successical catches and
right,
people.
Absolutely.
Like, there's still... you could still be turned off by someone's energy.
Of course. Yeah. But you can also... Yeah. And you can also be... it was never that they were successful that bothered me. It was just like, I don't know. I'm just...
Right. No, I'm not saying it was like because of that. I think it's more just like it wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to deal with like not being super into this because they're who they are.
No. I think it's more from the aspect of like, oh my God, I'm in this game. I'm in the Selena Gomez game. This is a possibility. Okay, now I'm going to work for it because like, wow, I'm like trying to achieve this person. And along the way, you find out if you're a match or not. And, for him to say, oh, and then we made out, the rest is history. Like, that's kind of how these things generally go. Like, when you end up with someone, you go, oh, everything was just so easy. The way he told the story is actually sweet. He's like, we were friends. And he, like, avoids the age thing because he's like, that's kind of gross. He doesn't want to make it gross.
Right.
Which I don't think it would be. I understand, like, he works in music. She's been in music. They've been around each other. I think calling themselves friends, to me, my bias, my assumption is that they weren't really friends. Friendly. They knew each other, similar circles, and work especially. And then she's like, no, this is a date. And she's like letting him know, like, I'm here because I'm like trying to, meet you.
Right.
And he's like, this switch happens, which is kind of sweet. This idea
and
that
he
like
makes the move.
And then he makes the move. Like, oh, okay.
I think she likes me.
Right.
I'm going to make them right. So he got a little bit of both.
Right. And I think it freed him.
Okay.
I think if you're a big star like Selena, like
you kind of
if
have
you're
to
a guy in her circles,
it'd
be cheesy to be like, and you might think that every guy in the world thinks that she likes them.
Right.
Or thinks that they have a chance because they talk or takes a shot.
Okay.
So I can understand why he would be like so surprised. It actually makes sense.
No, I agree. So for you to be in a relationship, you need someone of Selena Gomez's
yes.
caliber.
I need a Selena Gomez
to ask you for drinks
in a friend's way.
In a friend's way, you decide to take it to the next level, and then if you need to break up with her, you can say you pursued me.
You came to me.
Yes.
And I'm sorry I tried, but I couldn't get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, this is empowering. This is a lesson to women to shoot your shot.
Right.
but in a way that she did it. She wasn't like a lot of the women that I see in your DMs and my DMs of like, you know what I mean? It was, like she did it in the right way. Like, let's grab a drink.
It was also realistic.
Yeah. It wasn't like, I think we should give it a shot. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like,
hey, if you take me on a date, then we can, like, it wasn't this like, let's get drinks on a romantic level. I think that's like the big part of this, where it's like, she's like, let's get drinks, and he thinks it's friends, so it's nothing.
Right.
It's not like, if they walk away from that, it's like, like it was realistic in the sense like we can go meet for drinks.
Right.
When you're sending DMs and being like, hey, so I live in Texas and
I think
we should go for a drink. What does that even fucking mean?
I think I'd make the perfect girl for you. Like, I'm sure that's not what Selena, I'm sure she didn't text him. I'm traveling a lot, but I think that we could I'll be
in town for an hour.
We could really hit it off.
It's like whatever. In what world does that happen?
That wouldn't work, right? So I think she did. I think she's a great lesson to women. I don't think it should be insulting. I think it should be empowering message to women that if you're interested in someone, if you kind of want, you can put out. You don't have to pursue someone. Doesn't mean you have to like do it the same way that you feel like a man would, which
Absolutely.
is like I'm 100% in. Like you could just make a casual bid to hang out and take the hints of the way that invitation is received.
Right. Pursuing doesn't mean pursuing forever.
Right.
Pursuing doesn't mean that you're pathetic.
Agreed.
And that's kind of where people get down on themselves, especially a lot of the women that we hear from.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't want to like look like I'm crazy or look like I'm like needy or look like I'm desperate. That's the word that I don't want to look
And there
desperate.
is a way to do it where you do look desperate, but most rational, normal people.
Desperate is you need this.
Yes.
You
don't take the hint. You keep messaging.
Right. Attractive is I want this.
Yes.
And I'm letting you know. All right, let's do, we have an email?
Yes. All right. I will read it.
And if you're out there, I got shows. Tarrytown, still some tickets. We've released
more.
We keep adding more because, you take out seats for the cameras and stuff, and then you put them back in.
The event of the year.
It's the event of the season. And then I'm going to be in Des Moines, Iowa, Phoenix, Batavia, Illinois, Portland, Oregon, the weekend after New Year's.
Ooh.
I'm coming to Australia. All my Australia dates are up. New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, all the bins.
All of the spots.
Rochester, jaredfreed.com. Okay.
You better come back with an Australian
I'm
garb.
gonna bring back some gifts for everyone. Everyone always says
Oh
I come
yeah,
back
there's
empty-handed.
no way you're bringing us back anything. I don't believe
this
you.
This is reverse psychology. Now you got me.
Now I've got
Bring back a koala with a Betches t-shirt on. And chlamydia.
Bring back chlamydia for the whole office.
I think that's the next episode. We had a whole chlamydia talk on the last episode.
You'll see. That's what happens
on Friday. That's a sneak preview.
Yes. Get excited. All right. Hi, J&J. Love you both. Thank you for all the years of dating advice and for bringing a much-needed, reasonable perspective to dating issues.
Got you, boo.
That's what we try to do. This question comes from the Uber after a date. Literally couldn't wait to ask you guys. I'm sure it went great.
Sounds like a win.
Tonight was my third date with a guy I'd been having a good time with. We went out for a couple drinks and then back to his apartment. Ooh. Mm-hmm. After we had sex, he got up to grab water and got himself a glass and me a plastic water bottle. He did not offer me a shirt to sleep.
The trash goes to the trash.
I prefer the plastic water bottle.
Yeah, me too.
Personally,
she's kind of put a lot on that,
right?
No,
more than the glass is like tap the bottle,
right.
Bottled or tap. Like
yeah,
bottled.
Yeah,
like at a restaurant,
right? If you're at you check in a hotel, would you like a bottle of water? Of course I would.
Yes.
Yeah, this is to me hospitality.
I think that's nice.
This guy Derek Jeter.
He did not offer me a shirt to sleep in or anything like that. Do you do that?
I'm not I guess keep going because I don't know if it's like been said that there's like if I know a sleepover's happening, what can I get you? I got sweatsuits, I got mesh shorts,
wigs.
I got wigs,
I got a horse costume.
Horse costume. I got a Santa Claus outfit.
Then
whatever you need, kid.
So he didn't offer her a shirt. Then he got back in bed with me and did not initiate any kind of cuddling, just chatting like we were friends on the couch, not naked in bed together. After about 20 minutes of chatting, I kind of took this as a sign that he didn't want me there, so I suggested I call an Uber, and he agreed. He kissed me goodbye, but it was almost awkward. I can't say I wasn't disappointed, but you win some, you lose some. But it made me think, what are the signs that a guy wants you to leave after sex? These all seem pretty clear to me, but
Get the fuck out!
that's a pretty straightforward sign.
Get them titties out of my face.
This all seemed pretty clear to me, but it also kind of felt like what Jordana says about a guy making you break up with yourself. I felt like I had to kick myself out of his apartment because he wouldn't just lie and say he had an early morning tomorrow. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Love, a betch on her way home.
I love this email. It is a real thing. Let's just agree.
You're not sure.
Let's just agree this is difficult as far as communication is concerned.
Right. It's hard to read the signs. It's hard to give your own signs.
Right. In his defense, in her defense, in defense of all will they, won't they sleep over after sexual, instances. Right. Let's just agree this is difficult.
Sure.
Okay. And I especially
nothing was done that's seems heinous.
No, this is all in the land of awkward.
Sure.
In the land of we've been on 3 dates. We don't really know each other yet. Like we haven't had, might be the most difficult conversation they've ever had. Having sex was easy.
Yes.
How do you get out of there? Not as easy. Now, what do you think, Jordana, as far as I don't think he handled it well. I'm just saying I understand why it wasn't handled well.
This is sometimes what happens, I think, when you sleep with someone, and I've been there where you sleep with someone and you haven't really fully formed a super solid connection yet.
Right.
But it can happen even if you do. But I think that it always happens when it's you're kind of both you weren't sure that you 100% wanted to do it.
It's funny. It's funny that we're on the same page. And I was thinking of this email, when I read, our notes for this episode, and we're on the same page from different aspects.
Okay.
Because I kept thinking, I was like, this has to be, because you're right. The awkwardness is the result of unsure.
Right. After two people doing things that no one is really discussed or have is sure what's going to happen next.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking this person writing in, it's not about what they want. It's what do I want? Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking you have to kind of own what I want. I once came home with a girl. We went on a date. It was a first date. We went home together. And I'll never forget feeling I would rather sleep alone than sleep with someone I just met. Just
and sleep, you mean physically sleep?
Physically sleep. If I had my druthers, okay, I would rather sleep in my own bed alone than sleep in my bed with someone I just met.
Okay.
That is not to say that we won't get together again, that we won't, have a long-lasting relationship. I'm 39 and single right now, so probably not. But I'm just saying it is not because I thought less of the person for coming home with me.
Right. Why do you invite them home to sleep with them and then you want them to leave?
No, it's just I don't even think of it.
Okay.
But I would say I remember I went home with this one woman and she was like, I have a dog. I'm leaving. But I'm coming over because I want to make out and have fun and whatever way that
and maybe more. Okay.
And maybe more. Let me have fun in whatever way that fun operates. And I remember the dog thing, I was like, okay, good. Well, that took away so much of the emotion. That took away me
us all both having to read the signs.
This dance that we have to do. And it was a first date where we went home together. So this person on a third date where it's a little bit more has been laid and a little bit more.
Well, it's first date, second date, third date.
What are we doing then?
Right.
Fucking.
And then what?
Where does this go from here? So I think the pressure, because it was a third date, if this had happened on a first date, she'd be like, I don't know, maybe we like each other, maybe we don't. It was almost
right, it's built up.
Now in the third date, it's built up. Did I do something wrong? Did I turn someone off?
Right, it feels like a pivotal turning point.
Right, and that's why she's a little bit more in her head about this.
For sure.
So I do think if she, if I'm the guy in that situation, I would probably be as awkward as him. I would hope I would be better, but I can't understand how.
Uber.
I'm paying for the Uber.
Of course.
Uber Black.
Wow.
You come to my place, you get Uber Black.
Who's Derek Jeter now?
That's right. But what do you think? What do you?
I understand her anxiety here because she's like, okay, it seems like she's writing this email. It seems like she wanted to stay. She wanted to be invited to stay. She wanted to be cuddled.
This was
the water bottle again. I think
under-deliver on the promise of come home with me.
Yes, I think in her, and again after the third date, she's thinking maybe like this is like a moment where it gets more serious, or we get closer. And then I could see the disappointment on her end from being like, okay, we had a great third date. I felt comfortable enough to sleep with him. And then the vibe that I'm getting after feels like a pulling away vibe instead of a getting closer vibe. And so that's not a great feeling. I think if you're looking for that, and it seems like that's what she's looking for again, because she's writing this in and she's asking about the signs that a guy wants you to leave after sex. And I could understand feeling that in both ways. I think that's why I used to like having people to me so that I wouldn't have, so that it would be like more on them.
Right. This is again why it's so difficult. Yeah. We're both sitting here admitting like, I don't want to deal with it. Right. I wish there was a dog that someone had to go home to.
The other person's decision to like decide what they want to do.
Do you think most people want to sleep alone?
I didn't necessarily want to sleep alone. To me, that was like the half of the fun was the post sex cuddling.
Right. Yeah, it's
and like
tough.
The feeling of intimacy of like those in between moments.
I guess what are the signs that someone wants you to leave? Hey, I have an early morning. I just want to let you know.
I mean, that's a clear sign for sure.
But I would also
not offering the shirt. I don't think is. I don't think that's like a given that you would do that. I've slept like.
Well, they both didn't make a decision. That's the problem here. The problem is they both left it to the other. It's like, you go first. No, you go first.
Right.
No, they're both holding the door open, waiting for the other one to make a move.
Well, what could she say? Let's say she wants to stay. Well, it seems like she wanted to stay.
Right, I agree with you. And I think if you want to stay at someone's place after you've had sex,
which is perfectly reasonable.
Totally reasonable. You're allowed to stay. I think saying to someone, hey, if I come over tonight, I'm going to spend the night. Is that okay with you? Is that something you want?
Right.
I think, again,
before
easier said than done. Right, before you go. And if they're like, well, I have an early morning and I'm not really sure, then that kind of makes the decision for me. Totally understand. Like, I've had that with me where I'm like, hey, I'll state what I'm kind of looking for. And they're like, well, you could do this. And then I can see how they're not sure.
And then you're like out. Okay.
And I go, this is good to know. I actually am appreciating that we just had a conversation.
Right.
I appreciate that I told you what my standard was. I'm now hearing you dealing with my standard and fumbling around with it. And now I can go, you know what? This was a really great date. I do want to see you again, but let's get together on when we're both excited for this.
Right. Well, okay, let's say she's too late. She's in this exact scenario. They already sleep together. She wants to stay. She's getting a vibe like she's not sure if he's interested in that. What could someone say to you in that moment that would make it less weird?
Here's the thing. It's like I'm asking her to do something that I probably would never do. Like, I would say like, hey, I'd love to stay over tonight. Do you have a shirt for me? But I can understand why that's the most difficult thing in the world. You're at someone else's apartment. You just
and then also
sex.
You have the fear that he's saying okay just to like not have to say no, which would be weird.
Which I would assume everyone does.
Yeah, which that would be like the worst case. That's why I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be like, do you have a shirt for me? Like, let's go to sleep or something like that. Or like, I would love to stay over. Because I'd be like, to me, that's not giving them enough of an out. Because the worst thing I would possibly want to do would be like stay somewhere where it didn't feel like the person actually wanted me to leave but felt bad.
Right. So to me, I think this is all for the best. She left a place where someone wasn't sure they wanted them to stay.
Okay. So can she give a follow-up message here?
I think if you leave a place feeling uncomfortable, you should let them know you felt uncomfortable.
What would the text look like? And
that's not to say it's over. Like, I think the more likely scenario, you leave there, you go, you didn't offer me a shirt. Yeah, well, you gave me the water bottle is a little much.
The water bottle, again, I think you're getting the better end of you could take the water bottle with you to go.
His dirty glass that he probably hasn't even cleaned.
Tap?
No, you want the water bottle. So I do think if she left there and was like, hey, I felt a little off when I left. It was really a nice night.
Felt a vibe shift.
Yeah, great way to put it. Felt a vibe shift. I did want to. I think you have to be
Where
vulnerable.
is this going?
Well, I did want to spend the night. Just fuck someone. So where do you see this going? It's like, oh my God, I'm fucked. So I do think if she had said like, I felt a vibe shift and I'm a little disappointed by it because I would have spent the night if I hadn't.
That's a vulnerable thing to say. I can understand why it'd be hard to send that text.
But you gotta be vulnerable or you got nothing.
It's true.
There's no non-vulnerable text. Well, hey, I had fun tonight. Oh, me too. Would have loved to have slept over. I don't know.
Is that
if
passive aggressive?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of other ways to pose this. Or, I do have the motto. Just because I have doesn't mean I will.
Okay.
So I do think maybe the next time, if you want to push this off, you guys go out again. And you say, hey, I had a really great time. If I'm coming over and they say, you want to come over? You go, I'd come over, but I'm going to spend the night. I'm not looking to go home after this.
Okay.
Last time was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
That was a little uncomfortable for, you don't even have to go further.
Trap him into the next time he's looking.
And, I just want to let you know I'm pregnant.
Yes. So I'll be staying over every night.
Right. For 18 years.
We'll be staying over every night.
Right, So what do you think? I mean...
Yeah, I respect the question. I think it's a tough one to, again, like to communicate, like you said. Is there a world in which you're still really into someone and you don't ask them to stay over for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's great.
When you have two different apartments, when you have your own bed,
right?
Sleep at this age is just like waking up and having a good morning. Like really matters to me.
No, I think the first time Mike like stayed over or didn't stay, came back, he left to like go home, and I was like a little, oh, he left.
Right. I don't think it's as that
Yeah.
personal as it may be.
He was like, I have work tomorrow.
Right. I want to
wake up in my own bed.
And I want to like get to work and not be miserable for a whole day. If anything, it makes him think of you better. Like, oh, I wasn't like, what's the taste after our hangout? But, the taste is I'm hungover and tired and I didn't sleep at all. Or it's, what a nice night I had with that person that I got to know and I want to get to know them more.
And now I'm like alone. I have time to like process and do whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I
don't think it's over. I don't think, so you don't think it's over?
It's not over, but was he giving you signs? I don't think he was giving you signs based on this email. I do think it was indecision. And I think indecision breeds awkwardness, breeds you being like, what is this?
What's going through your head when you're like, if you're this guy?
If she really wants to stay, we'll stay.
I'm not gonna like tell her to leave.
I'm not gonna tell her to leave. If there's an out,
I prefer she left.
Right, that would be me.
That's what you think this at going.
Yeah,
on, right?
I think I prefer she leave, but I'm not.
But doesn't mean you're not
gonna
see her again.
No, this is like.
Well, you've slept together, so now you have to see her at least.
Got to see her one more
a few
time.
more times.
UUP@betches.com. Let's do an awkward encounter. You ready?
Let's do it. You want to read it?
Dear J&J, Jared's recent run-in with his neighbors hooking up reminded me of my own awkward encounter a few years ago. So for those listening at home, I talked about Halloween. It's our Halloween episode, post-Halloween. The week after Halloween, I talk about hearing two people having sex in the hallway while I'm dressed as a
parrot.
I had just moved home from my home city of Milan to Genova. Look at that. A port city on the Italian coast for work. Yeah, we know. We're not that stupid. The apartment I found... Yeah, maybe. The apartment I found was in what I thought was a great location, especially because it was very close to the metro station. But it was also near the port, where one beautiful, elegant street can quickly turn into a dodgy area. It turned out my apartment was close to both types of streets, often becoming a complete mess at night. During my first weekend out with my new colleagues, they asked me how I liked Genova. I said it seemed like a nice city, to which they responded, but yeah, it's gross. What, I asked? You'll see, they said.
Okay.
You'll see.
I would need more details.
Right.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What are they, a witch they met?
Right.
On the street. You'll see, and your little dog,
my
too.
pretty.
Yeah. That night, I went home very drunk. You had to be very careful to fully close the front door of the building because it sometimes wouldn't lock completely. That night, someone had forgotten to lock it. I opened the door and stepped into the hallway, and there on the ground was a guy fucking.
Okay.
For a moment, we all just looked at each other. Finally, I asked, what should I do? Should I step over you?
I hope she spoke good Italian.
Right. I mean, also... You need direction? Just get out of there.
Right. Wouldn't they leave? Wouldn't that be like their first?
They said yes, and so I stepped over them and went to bed. And that was when I discovered the other side of my new city. Hope this story gave you a bit of a laugh. Thanks for all you do. Gross adventures in Genova. What do you think?
I would say the coworkers were right.
Right. I just can't imagine.
They're very free about sex in Europe.
First of all, the hallway? Like, why the hallway?
Where else to go? And they're going to go home to his wife?
Well, he didn't want to make sure she was going to sleep over.
Yeah.
He's like, get her out of here. Hey, I don't have any water in this hallway.
I don't have any extra shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
I just imagine her stepping over. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Should make the first girl feel better.
Right.
Right. She got a better setup in there.
Stepped over by a rando.
Oh my God.
Let's do another email.
Let's do it. All right. Dear J&J, love the pod. I listen on my way to work at 5 a.m. and it's always a great start to my day. All right, I'll get straight to it. I have an ex-boyfriend from my mid-20s. We are now in our early mid-30s. We dated for 3 years and broke up because of petty stuff when we were younger. We didn't know how to communicate or really what we wanted at the time either in life. Fast forward to now, and we haven't spoken in 4 years. Completely no contact. We weren't friends on social media either, so I didn't have updates on his life. I'm not sure why, but I drunk texted him one night, and of course he responded right away. You can't say that and say I'm not sure why.
What you're sure why?
Yeah.
You still
I'm
think
not
of
sure
him.
why is like a trying not to have a vulnerability there.
Well, right. You're making yourself not the villain.
Yes.
You're taking away us going like, hey, you did this for a reason.
And the most annoying thing about someone texting you at 4 a.m. would be saying that they're not sure why.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to text me at 4 a.m. I want to know why.
Right. And also don't take away
yes
the assumption I would make for you texting at 4 a.m. after 4 years.
Yes.
Right. You're I'm not sure why. No. I am sure. Do I have to tell you why?
We both know.
It's because you are thinking of me.
Yes. I have been for a while.
Right. This wasn't just
right.
Your phone didn't fall and then it just suddenly landed on my name.
Right.
And you were like, oh, haven't thought of her in a while.
Yeah, it wasn't
and
a butt
then
dial.
You texted. So,
We exchanged a few texts at 2 a.m. and he said we should go get a drink soon. I hadn't seen him in years, so I was excited to see him again. We planned to get a drink a couple days later. Once I got there, everything seemed so normal and so comfortable. It was almost like no time had passed, and we were able to catch up very easily. About an hour in, I asked if he was seeing someone. He said yes, he was seeing somebody, and my heart sank. I asked if his girlfriend knew where he was, and he had told her he was just out with a friend. We left on good terms, and it was really good to see him. We continued texting for a couple days. I came to my senses and proceeded to tell him that this was inappropriate because he was in a relationship, and I felt bad for his girlfriend not knowing what was happening. We both agreed to stop texting, but then he sent a text about how he would always love me, and he wishes things could be different with us. He said he was in a very vulnerable spot when it came to me and that I was the one that got away. What does this even mean? How could so much time pass and we get along so well still? Now I feel like since we're adults and communicate better, could we actually date again? Why would he ask me out for a drink when he had a girlfriend? Why would he lie to his girlfriend and go out of his way to meet up with me? We said no more texting, but he has sent a couple texts, liked a few Instagram posts of mine, and has also followed my company Instagram page. That's weird.
Might have a new customer.
Right? Now I'm just confused what's happening. And after we went out for a drink, I truly do miss him. Is it time to finally just let him go, or do I hold out hope for us in the future? Sincerely, a nostalgic batch.
What do you think?
All right. I think she has to own her part in this.
That's a big part of this.
Yes. That she reached out to him.
Right.
Obviously, he's doing wrong things. He's in a relationship and he's like going out with her and telling her that she's the one that got away and like lying to his girlfriend. Like he has his own shit that he needs to deal with. Why is he doing that? Because I'm sure he has thought of her in the past. I'm sure like it felt good to hear from her. And I'm sure they do have like a solid connection. It could also be someone who's in a relationship and feeling a little bored and got excited by someone that used to be into them is still into them.
Right. And this sucks because it's kind of like she wrote in, hey, so I opened a lion cage and then the lion ran out and started mauling me. Why would the lion do that to me? And it's like,
Because men are animals.
Yeah, but people are animals. Like, you know, it's almost like no one wants ice cream until you bring up ice cream. Okay. You know, you go.
Right, he didn't like seek her out, but
he didn't seek
her
out. I mean, she said they didn't follow each other on social media, and you've kind of like, I'm not absolving him. Don't get me wrong. He's in a relationship, and he's now like kind of pursuing you, but he's pursuing you based off of you agreeing that you feel something for him. So like, he's kind of trying to see what this is now that it's been allowed to be seen.
Right.
You know,
and he has the safety net of this relationship, so he doesn't have to like fully go there, but he can like dabble in
and the safety net of you approached him.
Right.
So this kind of goes back to the Selena Gomez, Benny Blanco thing. Like, you came to him, you brought this. Now you can never say he was messaging you and trying to get with you.
Right.
You know, and this backup relationship is there, and he can kind of like, and the idea that you guys ended for like no reason at all. There wasn't a grand fight. It was always just like the timing didn't work out. So you're already saying, right? Didn't she say that? Like that it was the timing and, you know, what did she say?
We didn't know how to communicate at the time or what we really wanted at the time either in life.
Right. And it's like too vague, and it's not like a good, like, he didn't cheat on you. You didn't cheat on him.
Right.
It
You're
wasn't
like, it could work.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and he's thinking the same thing. Like, I don't think she's giving him.
You don't think he's just trying to like sleep with her?
I think maybe. I don't think it's that clear.
Right.
It's not that simple. It's not good versus evil. This is two people dealing with human emotions.
Right.
You know, and it's like, this is the same reason. Why they reach out to me on Facebook? Why they ask how my life is going 7 years later?
Right.
It's kind of because it's there. And you're kind of looking at these people and their lives and how they moved on, and you're checking in with them and you're thinking, what could have been? Yeah. And now one of your what could have beens came to your door and is asking, what could have been?
Right.
So like, I kind of
enticing. I get that. I understand that it's enticing.
Right.
And he's like human. Fine. I think what she needs to do, if he's still contacting her, is message him back, own your part in it. Because again, I don't believe it's real unless you're both bringing a vulnerability to it. I think she should say, listen, I know I messaged you seemingly out of nowhere. Like, I've been thinking about you a lot recently. And I always thought like, oh, like what could have happened there? Clearly the timing for that is not now because you're in a relationship. And I'm not really interested in like doing this like weird Bessie thing where you're in a relationship and we're having all these side conversations and you're following my marketing company on Instagram. Like, I don't really that's not really what I was looking for. I was looking to see if we still had a connection. You're not available. So like, I'm just going to like bow out. Please don't text me anymore while you're still in a relationship.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a change to that.
Okay.
Agree with everything except I think saying, this is what I wanted, but not the way I wanted it.
Okay.
I came to you because I thought about us and what we had. Now that I know you have a girlfriend, now that I know that you're like kind of like half pursuing me, this is not how it's going to happen with us. I need to unfollow you. I would let him know I'm going to unfollow you. We had no connection on social media. It's probably best that we had no connection because I wasn't someone top of mind to you.
Right.
You know, I wasn't really someone that you took the chance to reach out to. I took a chance by reaching out to you. I found out
you're in a relationship.
So now I'm texting with you, but I don't feel great about this.
Right.
So if things were different, I'm going to back away. But now you've actually told him what it takes to come back to you.
Right.
Like,
not be in a relationship.
Yeah, not be in a relationship, but actually pursue me in a way that like we figure this out. You know, like I do think like, I think you have to take a breath away from each other and maybe he does come back to you. Like, right. I do think that's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying like, you have to give this a chance.
He has to know that he can't come back unless he's single.
Right. And this is what I wanted, but not the way I wanted it.
Right.
I wanted you to
and
try
be
and pursue
vulnerable
me.
and say like, this is why I reached out to you.
Right. I reached out to you to see if there was still something here. There might be something here, but not this way. This is not how we go forward. Right. So I'm going to unfollow you. I'm going to make it so I'm going to make you unfollow me and I'm going to move on.
Bye.
But you have my number. We love a red flag deal breaker. Send them into uup@betches.com. okay. Jared and Jordana. Feather. Big fan of everything Betches does. And my husband and I love listening to Benefits episodes together. Love it. I have a red flag or deal breaker for you from my boyfriend from a long time ago. Context, in my own defense, I think it's important to know that I was only 20 years old in this story and therefore dumb. Okay. I had just started dating my boyfriend at the time, and we had done separate family Christmas gatherings, which felt appropriate at the time. But then we spent New Year's together, and a few weeks after that is Ukrainian Christmas. My family does not celebrate this, but his family does, so I was invited to their family gathering. However, it was with the caveat that I read a 200-page book about Ukrainian Christmas and its origins and traditions prior to my attendance. My boyfriend's mother insisted that this was very important for me to read in order to appreciate the holiday. My boyfriend just shrugged at this and didn't see how ridiculous this was. Again, young and dumb, so I just ended up reading it anyways. But it was probably the driest thing I've ever read, and I was in a class at the time in university about the history of environment in America. So that's really saying something. Okay. Oh, because that's how dry it was. The only thing I can remember to this day, and I'm sorry if this is offensive, was that fish is a really big deal for whatever reason. Needless to say, I'm grateful now that the family I'm married into, not the one from this story, doesn't give me a reading list. So red flag or deal breaker, his mom makes you study before you're allowed to attend the family holiday event. Thanks, a betch with a holiday syllabus.
I mean,
crazy.
I don't know if I would like leave the relationship, but I just
Right.
like wouldn't read the book.
There's no way I'm reading the book.
Right?
There's
You
no
were not
way.
reading the book?
There is
Shocking.
no way. I'm faking it.
Right. I would just like say I read the book and not read the book.
Right. Go Ukraine.
And then if
like,
his
I don't
mom,
know.
what is his mom gonna yell at you?
Right. What's going to
Fine.
happen? I would also, it's a deal breaker for me because I would want my partner, whoever that is, to go, hey,
She's
just so you
obviously
know,
not reading the book.
Don't read the book.
Yeah.
That's one of those things where
That's
you go,
true. You need the partner to step in.
right. The partner not saying to you, like, I would even, if I would expect the partner to go to me, I'm going to say you can't make it. Like,
Or I'm
get
gonna,
me
I'm gonna
out of this.
Don't worry. I'm gonna tell my mom that's obscene. You don't. Please don't read the book.
Well, if I knew my mom was like gonna go insane about that, I'd be like, they invited you, but I already said no, you couldn't.
Now I'm uninvited and I'm supposed to read the
Well,
book.
I would just be like, no, I said you couldn't because my mom's gonna ask you to read a 200-page book.
I
and that's
understand why she did
ridiculous.
it. She's 20. She's in school. She's like used to this.
Add another book to the reading list.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another.
Hey, J&J, I was seeing a guy. He asked me to do a sunset hike for our third date. I like that.
That's nice. Third date.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
A little cheap, but it's nice.
yeah.
It was a beautiful hike.
Maybe
but
there's
very
a restaurant at the top.
Maybe buy a drink after.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful hike, but very steep. It was 2.5 miles up a mountain with a 2,135 foot elevation gain.
Those numbers say nothing to me.
I just looked it up so I could give the real stats. I don't know what that means either, but it sounds like a lot. The guy was in a very good shape and hiked at a very fast pace. I thought I was in good shape at the time, but it was pretty brutal keeping up with him. I was panting, out of breath, and red in the face. Thinking back now, I wish I had just called him out for setting a blistering pace while I struggled. We got to the top and enjoyed the view, hooked up a little in the woods, and then hiked back down, and he drove me home.
Put this pine cone in your ass while I French you.
Move.
Now that we're done with that hike.
We went out a few more times after that, but the relationship eventually just fizzled. It's been a few years now, and now that I think back, I regret not thinking, wow, what a turnoff. I want to be with someone who would slow down, set a comfortable pace, and make sure I was enjoying the hike. But at the time, it was barely a red flag. So what do you all think? Red flag or deal breaker? He plans a date that involves a strenuous hike and sets an intense pace that leaves you panting the whole time. Thanks, guys. A slow betch.
What do you think?
I could agree with that to an extent of hers being like, it would be like, I don't mind the hike idea. I think that's kind of fun. I like a hike generally.
Okay.
But I think that if someone was like not checking in on me or like going very far ahead of me and not like making sure I was fine, giving me water or whatever it was, and I'm clearly like physically exhausted, that would be the deal breaker.
Yeah, I think it is hard to distinguish when you're being too attentive to someone and like not leaving them alone.
Like patronizing.
A little patronizing.
Are you okay?
What's wrong with you? Right. Do you need water?
Is that my wife?
Yeah, my wife's back there just breathing up a storm. I don't know. It is. If I was with a woman who was like running up a mountain while I was like, I don't know if it would be a deal breaker
Maybe
for me.
Not a match.
Probably not a match. I think that maybe they'd probably be unattracted to me. Like, oh, this
Right. Well, maybe
this
that is
chubby loser
maybe
couldn't
that's
make
what
it up the
happened with-
mountain.
Maybe that's what happened with these people.
Right.
Maybe he was like turned off by her and
he's
her
just
panting.
like, I'm going to get through this.
Right.
Try to hurry this along.
I mean, they made out at the top.
Fucked in the woods. So.
I'll still do it, yeah.
I don't know.
What if someone asked you on a hike, third date?
Third date, I would need more information about the hike.
Okay.
I wouldn't just like, I'd be like, well, what kind of hike? Is it long? Is there food? Is there alcohol? Is there a pillow for me to take a nap on? Like, I don't know. I would like want to know more.
Fair.
Like, I wouldn't just like go on any hike just because it's a third date. I'd be like, tell me about this hike.
Need more information.
Yeah.
Fair.
I do. One time I was with a woman who was like, she was like a spin instructor. And
Hot.
yeah. And then we went bike riding and like.
She wanted to go bike riding as a spin instructor?
It was like, we were on like a trip and bike riding was a part of it.
I need to be in a relationship before I bike ride with someone.
We were kind of seeing each other.
Okay.
And.
Like, it was pretty serious.
It was pretty.
We have 3 kids together.
She like couldn't ride the bike.
Really? She could only do indoor.
It was only indoor, only an immobilized bike.
That's a little embarrassing.
And it was a group of people, and everyone was like, "Aren't you like a spin?" And like she was like really having an issue with the biking,
Yeah.
and we're like, and again, like I thought because they were a spin instructor, like.
Of course, this is their thing.
This is what they do.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna like you know. Get behind them like their dad and like teach them how to ride. Like I just didn't think of that as being like part of the deal. And I remember just being like, and I remember her not being happy with me. Like that I wasn't more attentive to the bike situation. I was like, but you're like an instructor, like you do biking.
I mean, if she had said like, I know you would have thought that I would have been better. Like, is she making fun of herself?
It was not. There was some anger.
Right. If she's not making fun of herself, that's an issue.
Maybe a little bit, but it was just I could remember, and we were with a bunch of people. We were like, "Doesn't she teach spin?"
Yeah, instructors don't know shit about. They don't know shit about the real world. Biking. Let's do one more.
Let's do one more. J&J, love all of the things you up and J-Train. I started polling a few friends and thought I'd reach out to the experts on a red flag deal breaker regarding my younger sister. It's always someone else. Mm-hmm. I have a very unique name, Margot.
That's not that unique.
Not that, yeah, right.
I wouldn't say it's very unique.
It's not. She doesn't even spell it with an X.
Yeah.
That's the most unique version, right?
Yeah. If I were her, I'd say I have a sort of unique name. I wouldn't say it's very unique.
I would say I have a name.
Okay.
I wouldn't even go into unique.
I think I have a unique name.
Jordana?
Not very unique, but unique. Wouldn't call it very unique.
You think it's more unique than Margot?
Yes. You don't?
I don't.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm gonna get.
You know a lot of Jordanas?
I don't know a lot of Margos either.
Do you know more than someone else besides me?
I would say I know equal amount Jordanas than Margos.
Really?
Maybe well, hold on. Maybe I'm thinking of Jordan.
Oh, that's a different name.
I know. I'm aware.
Shannon, what's a more unique name, Margot or Jordana?
Don't answer wrong. You'll be fired tomorrow.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure. Well, Margot is short for Margaret a lot of the time, and I don't think that's a very unique name.
Isn't Maggie short for Margaret?
Yeah, I thought
That
Maggie
too.
was short for Margaret.
Margaret's a great Boston accent name.
Margaret.
I think Jordana's pretty unique. I think you're the only one I know.
See?
Wouldn't you think, if we had to discuss it, that they're one and the same, Margot and Jordana? I think I know as many Margos as I do Jordanas.
Maybe.
I just want people to know that I'm not just going to like...
Yes, me?
Yes, you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
No,
gonna
this
stand up to this bully?
I'm going to stand up to Margot. For Margot, yeah.
All right, fine.
Like, I don't know, unique name? I wasn't like...
I don't think Margot I've heard many times before.
Do you have a friend named Margot?
I have a friend whose daughter's name is Margot.
That's not the same. Because, again, that actually proves her point of being unique. Kids are named with unique names. These are all names that aren't... No one's naming their kid Ashley.
All right. So you think Ashley's a unique name?
No. That's my point.
All right. Well, I don't think
Ashley's been done.
I think my name is more unique than Margot. I want to know what the audience thinks.
I think it's debatable. I think it's like one and the same.
You think it's the same? All right. We'll do 3 options.
All right.
I'm more unique. Margot's more unique, or they're equally unique.
Equally unique, or I guess equally ununique.
Okay. Equally basic.
But no, equally. They're not basic. Don't put me there.
Okay. I'm not trying to twist your words. All right. All right. So she's got a very unique name.
I have a very unique name. We're going to say you have a name.
I think it's unique. I do think it's unique, but it's not very
Margot.
unique.
If I met a Margot, I go, nice to meet you, Margot. I wouldn't go, whoa, Margot.
Where's that from?
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't think twice
Yeah,
of a Margot. Okay. So growing up, my sister has always called me Go-Go.
Cute.
Hey, Go-Go. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. I had to try it on. For context, I am 9 years older than my sister. She is now a freshman in college. Every time she talks with me or about me, she always refers to me as Go-Go. It honestly feels a little weird to me to hear her called me by my first name. So it's weird to be called Margot.
By her
She's
sister,
Go-Go.
yeah.
I know Jordana is sometimes called JoJo by her nieces. See, you're very much alike.
Me with slightly more unique name.
Yeah, okay. And we'll see. And nephews, which I feel is pretty similar. But it got me thinking about it from both dating and relationship perspectives. Jordana, since you have an age gap with some of your siblings, do you still call them by any nicknames you gave them growing up? Would that be a friendship red flag? And Jared, if you were talking to someone and they referred to their sibling using a nickname right away, is that a red flag or deal breaker? At what age are sibling nicknames no longer cute? Thank you for all you do. A go-go that might be a no-no.
I don't think there's any age that it's not cute.
I agree.
Personally, I think it's
To me,
endearing.
it shows that there's a relationship.
Yeah.
Like if they called you Sister Margaret,
Right.
I'd be like, okay.
Mrs. Marinelli.
Right. A little formal.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
I think it's fun
Aunt
and cute.
JoJo shows that you have a relationship with your family.
Agreed. I mean, Mike calls me Aunt JoJo now.
Really?
Yes.
Does that confuse things?
No, it's like funny. Like it's not all the time, but sometimes
It's a random,
yeah,
a
I'll be like,
one-off.
Aunt JoJo, what time is it?
I got
Whatever.
it. Yeah, I
It's
like
not like
that.
how he introduced me.
To me, this is Aunt JoJo.
Yeah.
Yeah, go-go to me is like fun and it actually adds layers
Agreed.
to me. Like I can't.
It's cute.
It would actually be weirder to have this be anything other than nice to someone.
Yeah. If someone called your brother Harry, that's a nickname.
Harry's a nickname. If
Yeah.
they called me J-Train,
That might be weird.
I've
I
given
think
myself the nickname.
I think it is nickname dependent. I think if your brother was calling you J Train constantly.
Hey, J-Train.
No?
I don't know. Ruthie sometimes calls me J-Train.
Okay.
She's like,
It's more to me the bigger red flag is when like guys are referring to you by your last name publicly after a certain age.
yo, Freed.
Do you know what I mean?
I
They're-
guess, yeah, that's a little different because it's not a nickname that like,
Well, it's funny. It's like, when do you phase that out? Because like they're
Mm.
in college, every guy calls each other by their last name. I feel like that's just like sort of like a thing that men do.
right.
And then it kind of spills over into your early 20s, but there does have to be a time where like your people are not calling you by your last name. It's very fratty.
It is. I'm trying to think. I have a group of fratty friends and we have so many
Call
nicknames.
each other by your last names?
No, we were never last name. We weren't really a last name group. It was
Okay.
But also now that I'm thinking, I'm like, who was the last name guys? Like, there's some people that are their last name.
I think it's people who have like a very basic first name, like the Adams, the Michaels, the Matts.
Right.
Like there's a multiple Matts or Adams or whatever it is. You
But
call
I've
them by their
called
last
them
name.
still by their nicknames, and I've never thought of it as weird. Like even in front of their kids. Like I have one friend, Thunder Dan. I'm like Thunder,
Oh my God.
and I've said that in front of his kids and not thought twice of it.
Are the kids like, what are you talking about?
I think they know at
That's
this
funny.
point.
When I started dating my now fiance, I
Ooh.
called him by his last name for years, and then when we slept together, he was like, "You got to stop." calling me by
Really?
my last
He
You
took
name."
called him by his
offense.
last name.
Yeah, it was just my
Which is
parents
gonna be
called
your
him Puckett
last
too.
name.
Puckett,
Ironic.
just
Right.
Puckett.
Puckett's so,
Puckett.
but that's like a first name, last name one. Like
Yeah.
that's like a nicknamey last name.
It took a long time for me to be like, "Okay, your name's Matt."
Are you gonna take his last name?
No, I'm gonna take mine.
Okay.
Did
I'm
you
gonna
go-
take my own.
Does
You're gonna keep yours. Yeah.
do you call him Matthew?
Only when I'm being cute.
Okay.
You know, so you went with Puckett, and then you go Matthew would be like kind of like a lateral
right.
move. Do you have a nickname for Mike?
Mike. is the
Mike.
nickname for
Well, that's
Mike-
a nickname.
Michael,
Yeah.
We have the- we
I
have
call
like
my
a-
phone iBaby
Oh, look
for
at-
my
that's cute.
girlfriend. The
Well,
phone.
Mike and I have like a weird thing, which I don't even know if I want to say. It's like a little, it's like a little weird and kind of embarrassing.
Well, we're in the weird
Why-
episode. We did say we are unhinged.
So when we started dating, we would always reference this joke from like Jersey Shore with Ron and Sam, where like Sam would always be like, "Ron, stop it!" Like, "Ron, stop,"
Mm-hmm.
or she'd be like, So for some reason since then, we've been calling each other Ron.
So you're both Ron.
We're both Ron.
Hey, Ron, grab me a soda.
Yeah.
Is that how it comes up?
It sort of became like a weird, like we don't do it publicly. It's just kind of like, and it's sort of like a second nature now. It's very bizarre.
He calls you Ron?
He calls me Ron too.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
And it started as you both love this scene from the Jersey Shore?
We like laughed about this scene. I forgot how it came up, but we were like laughing about this scene. And then I think we've referenced it a few times where like something about like being made fun of or like your big blood Flintstone toe. She got really mad at him about that. It was like a scene we like had like digested or talked about.
Right.
And then
it became part of the lexicon of your relationship.
When it could have just died. So I've never told anyone that before.
Yeah.
This is very inside scoop. It's kind of weird. We both think it's kind of weird, but we both kind of like can't stop.
When do you is Ron never said in front of people?
Not really. No.
Right.
No, I don't think anyone's caught us in that.
Get ready for me to be calling you both Ron.
I love it.
It's
very weird.
Yeah, it's definitely different. But I could see, I mean, again, this is why, like, you know, you get in a relationship and you tell someone the story that you and your partner think is hilarious and just see them, like, literally their eyes roll into the back of their head.
So
like,
corny or weird. Yeah.
They're like, they just don't get it.
That's why I haven't shared it. It's been like going on for like 7 years.
Well, Ron, we did it again.
J&R.
J&R, that's right.
Here, yeah.
If someone writes in, hey, J&R, I will
love it
so hard.
Leave a review for Jared and Ron. We love it. And we'll be back on Friday.
Boom.
The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candice Maniga. Edited by Belle Roman. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. VP of podcast is Chris Allen. And be sure to follow U Up at u.up.podcast.